In today's video, we are going to look at the different types of electric cars available in the market and their pros and cons so that you can have an idea of what to look out for when buying an EV. The first type is the battery electric vehicle, or BEV. This is the most common type of EV that you'll find on the road today. And it runs solely on electricity with zero tailpipe emissions. The pros of this type of vehicle are that it has no direct emissions, so it helps reduce air pollution. They are also very quiet, which makes them more pleasant to drive in busy areas. Plus, they are exempt from road tax and benefit from government grants and other incentives, making them more affordable. Some examples of fully electric cars are the Nissan Leaf, the Renault Zoe, the Hyundai Kona Electric, and many more. However, there are some cons to owning a BEV. One big downside is that they have a limited range compared to petrol or diesel cars, although this is improving year by year. For example, the average electric car has a range of around 200 miles, but some higher-end models like the Lucid Air can go over 500 miles on a single charge. But even so, it is still much less than the average petrol car, which can travel around 400 miles before needing to refuel. Another problem with BEVs is that the charging infrastructure isn't as developed as the refueling infrastructure for combustion engine vehicles. Although it's getting better every day, it's still difficult to find a place to charge your car in some parts of the country. And finally, the initial cost of purchasing a BEV is still quite high compared to a combustion engine vehicle of similar size and performance. However, this is offset by the lower running costs and government incentives. So overall, BEVs are becoming a very popular choice for drivers who want to go electric. The next type is the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, or PHEV. These vehicles have both an internal combustion engine, or ICE, and an electric motor powered by a battery that can be charged via plug. They use electricity for low-speed driving and switch to the ICE for higher speeds or when the battery is depleted. Some examples of plug-in hybrids are the Toyota Prius Prime, the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, and the BMW 330e. The main pro of a plug-in hybrid is its versatility. It offers the benefits of electric driving, such as low emissions and quiet running, without the range anxiety that comes with a fully electric vehicle, since it can rely on its combustion engine when needed. Plug-in hybrids also offer the ability to charge the battery from a plug, which means that you can drive purely on electric power for short trips without having to start up the combustion engine. In addition, these vehicles typically qualify for government incentives such as tax breaks and rebates that make them more affordable than fully electric vehicles. Finally, PHEVs generally have lower fuel consumption and CO2 emissions than comparable gas or diesel-only vehicles. On the downside, plug-in hybrids are more complex than fully electric vehicles since they have both an electric motor and a combustion engine. This complexity can lead to higher maintenance costs, and they are also heavier than pure electric cars because of the extra components such as the combustion engine, transmission, and fuel tank. Another con of the PHEV is that the size of the battery is typically smaller than in a fully electric vehicle, since the vehicle still needs to carry around the weight of the combustion engine. Therefore, the electric range of a PHEV is usually less than that of a fully electric vehicle and might not be sufficient for all drivers' needs. Nevertheless, plug-in hybrids are a good option for drivers who want to reduce their carbon footprint and save money on fuel costs while still having the flexibility of a combustion engine. The third type is the hybrid electric vehicle, also known as a hybrid or HEV. A hybrid car is very similar to a plug-in hybrid. The difference is that the battery cannot be recharged from an external source and is charged solely through regenerative braking. This means that the car uses the electric motor to recover energy when the vehicle slows down or stops, which then charges the battery. Some examples of hybrid cars are the Toyota Prius, the Honda Insight, and the Hyundai Ioniq. The pros of a hybrid car are that they are more fuel efficient and produce fewer emissions than traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. This is because the electric motor can assist the engine, reducing the need for acceleration and therefore saving fuel. Also, hybrids are more environmentally friendly than gas or diesel vehicles since they emit less CO2 and other pollutants. Additionally, hybrids can reduce the driver's awareness of the stop-start system often found in modern petrol and diesel cars. This system automatically turns off the engine when the car stops to save fuel and then turns it back on when the driver presses the accelerator pedal. While this can help save fuel, it can also be annoying to drivers who find it jarring when the engine suddenly turns off or on. Hybrid cars eliminate this problem by providing a smooth and quiet ride without the engine turning off unexpectedly. Finally, hybrids are typically less expensive than fully electric vehicles, since they don't require a battery as large or costly as those used in EVs, making them a more affordable option for drivers who are looking to reduce their fuel costs and emissions but still want to keep their upfront costs low. However, there are also some cons to owning a hybrid vehicle. The first is that the battery cannot be recharged from an external source. This means that the car can only generate electricity through regenerative braking and cannot be plugged in to charge from the grid. As a result, the electric motor cannot be used to drive the car on electricity alone and must always work in conjunction with the internal combustion engine. This reduces the potential for fuel savings and emission reductions compared to a fully electric vehicle. Furthermore, hybrids are more complex than traditional internal combustion engine vehicles due to the additional electric motor and battery. This complexity can lead to higher maintenance costs and the need for specialized technicians to service the vehicle. Finally, hybrids may not be suitable for drivers who mostly drive in urban areas. This is because the electric motor is most effective in stop-and-go traffic where it can use regenerative braking to recharge the battery. However, if the driver mostly drives on highways or in other areas with less stop-and-go traffic, the internal combustion engine will be used more often, reducing the potential for fuel savings and emission reductions. Overall, hybrids are a good option for drivers who want to reduce their fuel costs and emissions but do not want the range anxiety or higher upfront costs associated with fully electric vehicles. The fourth type is the hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicle, or FCEV. This type of car uses hydrogen gas as its fuel and converts it into electricity to power the electric motor. The only emission from the vehicle is water vapor. Some examples of hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are the Hyundai Nexo and the Toyota Mirai. FCEVs have several pros. First, they have a longer range than battery electric vehicles since the hydrogen fuel cell generates electricity continuously during the car's operation. So there is no need to stop and recharge the battery. Plus, FCEVs can be refilled with hydrogen in just a few minutes, similar to how long it takes to fill up a conventional car with gasoline. This makes them an appealing option for drivers who want the convenience of a combustion engine car. Additionally, hydrogen fuel cells are more efficient than internal combustion engines since they convert hydrogen fuel directly into electricity rather than using it to power a piston engine. As a result, they have the potential to be more environmentally friendly than combustion engine vehicles. However, there are also some cons to consider. One big downside is that hydrogen is not as energy-dense as gasoline, meaning that an FCEV would need a lot of space to store enough hydrogen to match the range of a typical combustion engine car. This makes them less practical for use in smaller vehicles such as city cars. Plus, the infrastructure for refueling hydrogen cars is still in its early stages, and there are currently few public hydrogen refueling stations available, making it difficult for drivers to find a place to refill their cars. This is a major obstacle to the widespread adoption of FCEVs. In conclusion, each type of electric car has its own advantages and disadvantages, and the best type for you will depend on your individual needs and preferences. If you want the cheapest option, then a hybrid might be a good choice. However, if you want the most environmentally friendly option, then a battery electric vehicle would be the way to go. Ultimately, the decision of what type of electric car to buy is a personal one. But hopefully this video has given you some food for thought and has helped you decide what type of electric car would suit you best.